those cases, you want to somehow include in that message, what resonated with you, right? And you need to keep in mind, why should this person give you their time, right? You have to answer that question first. So let's talk a little bit about how to connect with colleges. So obviously, number one, it's about preparation. So complete your website research before you reach out to schools, and that's pretty basic. Ask clarifying questions with live chat. It's tracked. So when I say live chat, you might go onto a school website. There might be a little pop-up saying, "Hi, you have any questions or what's going on?" I mean, there's a lot of different companies now that are incorporating these live chat. They're bots to start, but then they actually connect you to a school representative, sometimes the student, and that's also data that the school is going to be able to look at and track. And also, this idea of putting your best foot forward. Whenever you do connect with somebody, you don't want to waste anybody's time in doing it. Michael, anything to add to this, or?
Yeah, go back to that first point. I think what's important to realize is as you're doing your website research before you reach out, they're already tracking that. So in other words, they are seeing that you're looking at this information before you start to ask your questions. That's a good thing, okay? That's a good thing because it's showing you're doing your homework. You're looking at what you're looking to know about. You're looking at what you want to ask about. So that first point, lots of times you'd say, "Oh, I go on their website, no big deal." Well, it is a big deal, okay? And so again, the more often you go on, the more you look at it, the more you research it, and then the more that you do the other things Chris is talking about here in terms of the live chat and being in contact with others, the better.
Right. So as far as reaching out goes, there's been a few questions on how best to reach out to schools. Mm-hmm. And number one, cast a wide net. Aim to speak with admissions, students, and faculty. We had a couple of questions in the question field for the registration form, and people are asking, is it okay to do that? Absolutely. And then also make use of official opportunities. So some colleges arrange opportunities to speak with these people, take them up on it, including at the safe schools, your safety schools. And then finally, if no opportunities actually exist, try to create them. You need to be more proactive, right? Michael, anything to add to this?
Absolutely. This year I was working with a student who was very proficient in sign language, done some really cool things in it. And she reached out and started to reach out to the faculty members in sign language at the schools that she was interested in, developed a relationship. It helped her figure out which were good places for her, but it also built a relationship with those faculty members. Students who have particular majors and have the opportunity to do that, take advantage of that, no question about it. And number two, I think there are so many times students decide, and their parents, "Oh, it's a safe school, I don't need to do those same things." Those are the things that put you on a wait list. The fact that you didn't take the time to show the same love to your safety schools as you do to your target reach schools is a reality. So make sure that if you're doing this and you have a list of schools, you're not only doing it at your top 2 or 3 schools, but you're doing it at all the schools that you think are places that you'd like to attend.
Right. And proactive steps. How do you actually do it? Well, contact admissions, ask to speak with the representative or student ambassador. Oftentimes this is provided as an option. If not, you can always ask. Email professors to demonstrate that you've reviewed their class, or the research that they're doing, and you want to sort of discuss it further. And in those cases, you want to somehow include in that message, what resonated with you, right? And again, you have to keep in mind, why should this person give you their time? Right? You have to answer that question first. And then also finally here, speak with friends or contacts who are, enrolled or graduated, in recent years. Michael, any other sort of tips on how to actually proactively make this happen?
Yeah, I think we got to, again, think about the times we're in. In the past, a student would go to campus in the fall, they'd sit in on some classes. Lots of times they might go up and talk to the professor after the class. I'm not sure those opportunities are going to exist this fall. I think colleges are going to be a little more restrictive on who's on campus to visit, where they're coming from. We've seen instances where people coming from a particular country or even a particular state were discouraged from coming to campus. I think that will continue in the fall. So again, by doing it in terms of virtually reaching out to people, I think is going to be really important. And so realize what a college is going to allow you to do And then also what you may have to do in terms of, as you said before, be proactive, because that's all you can do.
So, we talked about this idea of the interview and how the interview might be more important than ever, frankly. And, we had a couple of, sort of pieces here, this idea that if you're going to prepare for the interview, you have to really, really prepare for it. I know some of the other college counselors, who I'm friendly with, whenever the idea of the interview kind of comes up with their students, they're like, no, we have to talk before before you have that conversation with that school. And also too, this idea that even like an informational interview, because usually the interview is not evaluative until you actually apply, but even an informational interview, you want to make the most positive impression possible. Would you agree, Michael?
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, today and in our last session, I really think in terms of, because there is less information for admission offices, they're going to probably prioritize interviews now more than they have in the past. And remember, it could be an admission officer, it could be an alumni, and sometimes it's even a student interviewer. But all of these can be of value. I'd love to tell one story, though, when I have this opportunity. Years ago, when I was in poly prep, I believed that I should do practice interviews with my students to pretend I was the dean from a particular school and take them through a series of questions that I've asked them. One of my favorite questions was always, what have you read lately? And one of the students I was doing the practice interview with said, I don't like to read. And I kind of fell out of my chair. And
good reason.
Then I collected myself and I said, you're leaving now, you're coming back tomorrow, and we're going to do this again, and you better have a better answer for that question the next day. And sure enough, he did. I'm sure he got home and he said, I can't believe what Mr. Muska said and did. And the mother said, you're damn straight that he should have done that to you. I can't believe you answered the question that way. But again, it's back to preparation. I'm a firm believer. Do practice interviews. You can even do it with mom and dad. It doesn't have to be with an admission person. But do a practice interview just to get that experience of what it's like in terms of that give and take. Because again, I think these information interviews are going to be much more important this year in particular, maybe not the next year, but I think for this upcoming year, schools are going to have to figure out how to collect more information about you, whether it's checking your social media, doing an interview, but things that they haven't done as much in the past.